My first guest is a woman who actually started her business when she was she had only 56 cents in her account. She was divorced, and she also, if that wasn't bad enough, she had a car that was repossessed. And yet she went on to very quickly get into profit and grow a wildly successful business. She is become kind of known for her ability to really um, build on influential marketing, influencer marketing. She has had built businesses and helped others build businesses basically through organic marketing, through partnerships, and instead of placing a lot of money into advertising. And not everybody, when they're starting out, can put all that money into advertising. So you have to kind of figure out a way to do that. And she is the queen of doing that. She has a company called Authorities, and she is joining me today. Please welcome Latasha Mitchell. Hi.
Thank you, Kim, for having me. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, that's a great intro. And I'm like, when I hear it back to myself, I'm like, yeah, I did start when I had like 56 cents in my account, which is pretty crazy. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, I would love to get into that story too, because I think when people find themselves, I mean that is really hitting bottom. 56 cents in your account, no car, divorced. I mean, that could send you into a depression and say, okay, I don't know how I'm going to build my way out of this and how do I go forward. So I would love for you kind of to walk us through that. Like, what went through your mind? What did you do to say, okay, look at, I got to get something together here? And how did that process take place for you?
Yeah, so I did start from 56 cents, but I actually had a business before. And then what had happened is we ended up separating, things went awry. I went to a lawyer, he thought I was gonna screw him over or whatever, and so he wiped our accounts. And so then I had hit rock bottom right then. I had a marketing company, which required me to be present and front and center. And because of the depression setting in, I was like I can't do this. So I ended up, calling one of my good friends who was co-founder of a massive company, and he helped me with the partnership process to get like a brand new product launched through influencers. So that's kind of like how it all happened. But yeah, it was a rock bottom time that I did not know how I was going to come out of it. And if it wasn't for partnerships and other people, collaborations, I don't know where I would be today. Like I literally don't know because I wasn't going to run ads. Like I'm not going to jump on an ad and be like, oh my God, buy my stuff. Like I'm not going to jump on an ad. So it was almost like I needed other people to help me sell my product at that time. And it was so instrumental to the success that I have now. And the best part about it is it wasn't just like, okay, cool. Well, like this works for me. It inspired me to go out there and help other women, other men, other people in general that want to start a business to understand that they don't have to come into this convoluted world of ads and all this insane strategy and convoluted funnels. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I am saying it can be quite overwhelming for the new person with no money or a little to no money. Even if you had $10,000 to start up, are you going to invest 8,000 in ads and then hope to God it works?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a
So,
great
anyways.
point. That's a great point because I think what happens is, and I see this a lot with course creators. I'm going to create a course because I see everybody online doing it. I'm going to create a course, not that difficult, right? You can do some videos. There's many different ways in which to do that. But I'm going to create this course and I'm going to put it out and run some ads and get all this traffic and boom, it's going to sell. But what people don't realize is that understanding ads themselves, huge learning curve. And it's kind of a
Mhm.
trial and error. And if you have that money, if you have money that's okay, disposable money, you can say, look, I've got this 10,000 here and it's okay if it goes. All right, maybe that's one thing. But if you
Yeah.
don't understand it or you can't hire somebody that really knows it, and even then I caution people because there's a lot of people and a lot of noise on the internet, and sometimes
Mm,
does that person really understand? So you have to be really careful of that and know, okay,
mhm.
is this somebody that's the right fit for me? So I love that you started by really building businesses and helping owners start to build their business the organic way and
Mhm.
understanding, okay, the value of partnerships. But you actually though got outside yourself and asked for help,
I
and
did. Yeah. Yeah.
that's huge.
That is huge. That is huge because a lot of people just want to sit in their little office and be like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. But it's not that. It's not that. I mean, it can be that simple, I guess, but it's just so much easier when you reach out for help, when you reach out for support, when you go out there and help others. And it can seem hard to help other people while you're, in a place of despair. But like when you get out there, get yourself out there, you don't understand what a community can do for you. They say it takes a community to raise a child. Well, it takes a community to raise a business. Like it really does. And this is something that I have found over my years. It's been like, probably, I don't know, 6, 7 years now since that story. And I have grown faster and stronger with the community than I did before. Because before this, I was still building my business, but I was doing it alone. I didn't really know partnerships. I didn't understand them. And then I got introduced to it out of a desperate situation. And now I'm growing with the community, and it is amazing. Like it is great. I mean, we did 250,000 off of giving, right? And that, like, let that land. We did 250,000 off of giving last year. We went into someone's community just like this. It was a mastermind, and they asked us to speak. I did not think anything of it. I was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll speak. Of course, it's a blessing. This lady's massive. You know who she is. So I was like, of course, like I'll speak, no problem. I didn't ask what I'm supposed to give. I didn't ask, is there an opt-in? Am I getting paid? None of that. I was like, yeah, I'll show up. Sure. Let's go. What time, where I got to be, I'm there. And so I went into that community. I poured my heart out. I gave them everything I possibly could. I mean, she asked me for certain things and I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And after that event, I got so many people reaching out to me about partnerships that ended up hiring me, that we ended up doing 250,000 from giving. And
Wow.
that whole situation has turned into a massive community for me of people that I love and that love me, and that we can all do collaborations and partnerships together
Yeah.
off of giving. So
Yeah, well, okay, so I love that, because that's what it comes down to. It's sharing your value, your knowledge, your expertise, and being willing to show up and give that to somebody else with really no expectations. Knowing that, listen, when you're running a business, yes, you want to look at the bottom line. You want to pay attention to, is this where I'm best suited to be? But and
yeah,
if it aligns with you, obviously, I mean, you have to look at those things. And is this something that makes sense? I get that. Obviously you're not going to speak at something that doesn't even pertain to your business. And it's a different platform maybe. But when you're able to share that, and it is all of a sudden, it is the value of having the support of other individuals that, maybe they're further along than you, maybe they have a bigger platform than you, and so it allows you to
yeah.
then start building and drawing from that as well.
And that's exactly what you want to look for in partnerships, right? So when you look to work with someone, don't go work with, like, Kim Kardashian. I mean, that would be amazing. But still, like, you're not looking for the Kim K's of the world. You're looking for the smaller entrepreneur, or, an entrepreneur with, some anywhere between like 5,000 followers, or community, up to like 50,000. But even if you find somebody that with a smaller community, even like 1,000 raving fans can change your life and business, right? So if someone has 1,000 raving fans, like a mastermind, and they're inviting you in there, that's a partnership. It's a collaboration. Even if it's not an offer like, here's a link or here's an opt-in, when you go in there and you give and you really show up, people are going to naturally follow you and want to know more about you. And so that's really how partnerships on a very low level work, right? I can give you guys the high level of like how to actually go out there and do it. Or it's like, just find people that have communities that resonate with you, that's complementary to your business, where you can actually give and help their audience move forward. And people will come to you and buy your stuff all day long. And I mean, on the tech side of that, just make sure you have your stuff set up. Make sure your Instagram looks good. Make sure your Facebook looks good. Make sure you have some, opt-ins there, and people will start to opt in and opt into your stuff. Alternatively, they'll message you and maybe get them on a strategy session and then sign them up to your high ticket offer. So I hope that's not too much tech kind of babble, but that I like the strategic part as well.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think it's an important point, and I think that what you said about making sure that your stuff is ready to go and that you have things set up, because what I have found so often in working with entrepreneurs, particularly those that are starting out, or they just maybe received a certificate as a life coach, or I don't know, business development or health and nutritional medicine and such, but the thing is that they aren't really clear on their offer. And so,
Mhm.
and the fastest way to build a business too is that, like you're saying, the partnerships, yes, but you have to have the right offer to put in front of the right group of people. So if you show up and you're speaking these things and you say, yeah, go check out my Instagram, great. I'm going to check out your Instagram, but if there's nothing there, like
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're so clear on what it is that your value is, your expertise, and what that offer is that you can bring to people so that it makes it easy. And whether it's, even we see a lot of people putting out, I'm going to give you a complimentary session, right? A complimentary
Yeah.
strategy call or whatever. That's okay. But honestly, we can get that much more detailed and niche down where you can focus on, let me give you a specific, and also if it's pertaining to, like you said, you went in and you spoke at this community, and if there's whatever the theme is of that, your session could be pertaining to whatever that theme is, because now you're becoming much more dialed in.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and I mean, a lot of people will say to me, I'll say, okay, well, go and find somebody that you can serve like that, that you can get inside of the community. And they'll say, well, I don't have anybody. And I'm like, you absolutely do. Right. So if you're kind of stuck, because I know this is the first thing when I say this is the first thing people say to me, well, Latasha, you have this community of influencers and leaders all around you. And it's like, okay, I didn't back then. I put a lot of energy and effort into getting into circles, starting to meet people. And so have you guys. And I know this because we are summit junkies. We are development junkies. We are Facebook group junkies. Like we're podcast junkies, right? So who do you know that has a podcast, a Facebook group, maybe a mentor that you showed up for really big? I know, Kim, you're part of a mentorship program. I know that you've shown up in that community a lot, right? So if your name has popped up a lot and you've been serving and helping that community, chances are that leader knows who you are. And chances are you can start to really build that relationship at a higher level and maybe reach out and say, hey, listen, I've been watching for this long. This is what I've been doing. And I know I can help your community by sharing. Like, I know you have a mastermind coming up. I would love to speak in there or help or whatever in any capacity. Can I help?
Yeah.
And, most times they'll say yes. Sometimes they'll say no. Don't be upset. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
don't take it personally.
don't take it personally. And it's just not right now. Maybe grow a little bit bigger, stay connecting and building that relationship and ask again. And same thing, like who do you know that has a Facebook group with a complimentary community? It can be a small Facebook group as long as they have high engagement. That's all that matters. Then ask to go, give in that Facebook group. And, oftentimes they'll let you do some sort of collaboration. And then on a higher level, if you really wanted to make this collaboration worth it for them, you can say, listen, I got an offer that can really help them. It's $1,000. I'm willing to give you 40% or 50%, which sounds like a lot of money, but that audience wasn't yours. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's
like
not
typically,
a lot. And, with the affiliate partnerships, because you're really talking, it's almost like an affiliate partnership, right? Where it's, you're being able, and it's like referral fees or anything like that. You're right. It wasn't your audience. And so even though you're bringing something to the table and it's your expertise and your product, whether it's a digital product or service, it doesn't matter. It's still opening you up to a whole different group of individuals that you wouldn't have been in front of it. And usually it is about 50%, 40 to 50% is what I've seen.
When I say that, people freak out.
Really?
Often. I usually have to dial it right down and be like, here's why it's beneficial. Number one, you're paying 50% or 40%. And again, you guys, if you're watching this, you can pay 20%. It depends on your product, okay? If you have an e-com product, it might be 20% because there's a physical product going out that you pay for. If it's a course, like, come on, let's be real. You're showing up for those people anyways. 40 or 50% doesn't matter. They're not your people. Somebody else spent ad money on them. Okay, but when I explain this to people, they freak out because they think, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of money. That isn't a lot of money because your lifetime value of your client is how much, right? If you're always selling new things like a course for 1,000 and then, a VIP day for 10,000 and then a year-long program for 20,000 or 25,000. Now, what's that lifetime value? Like my math's not great, but let's go 20, 35,000. Okay. So lifetime value for that client, 35,000. You paid $500 off that first $1,000. So it was $1,000 for the first program, right? You gave somebody 50% to acquire that client. And then you sell them into a VIP day, which you don't pay your partner. Then you sell them into high ticket. You also don't pay your partner. Right. So please tell me why $500 is a lot of money if your lifetime is that much money of a client. So I hope that all makes sense, but It
You know,
is so
the
profitable.
lifetime customer value, that is so important. And I think when people, they limit themselves because they don't think long term. What's the vision? Where do I want to take my business? And where also, just like we have a vision, our customer also has a vision. It's
Yeah.
where is it that they want to go? And so we may be giving them steps or wins along the way. Fine, they may join you with one program only, but a lot of times we'll see that people are getting value and they're like, okay, now, because listen, we're always growing and evolving, right? And so it's like natural, that progression to say, okay, you've come in at whatever. It could even be, you know, you start bringing people in with a lead magnet, right? But then if you get them into a course, and then it's like, okay, where can we go with this? Maybe it's a group coaching, maybe it is
Mhm.
moving forward, like you said, to a VIP day, to a retreat, to a mastermind, whatever it may be. But once you've gained that client, it's so important that you then retain that client by keeping them, by giving the value and keeping the value coming to them as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, you're absolutely right that when you look at it in those terms, you can say, okay, really 50%?
Yeah,
It's not much because I haven't had to
not
do
that
the
much.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Kim, I think you totally like hit it on the head. It's really all about long term. Like just because you're selling $1,000 course, people think like, oh, $1,000 course, I'm going to sell 50 of them, make $50,000. And that's like their, you know, that's their goal. And then their next goal is to sell another 50,000 of the same course and another 50,000 of the same course. Well, it's like, why do people keep doing this to themselves? Like you have that customer, how can you help them go further?
Mhm.
What can you do next? Right. And if you don't have those things set out, you don't have to have them set out right now, but you should very well start thinking about long term. You don't want a customer to come in and just fall off. Like look at Best Buy. Do you think they do that? No, they bring in new products. They are always, you know, emailing their clients, like bringing them in to buy more stuff from them.
Right.
If you went to Best Buy, bought a camera and left and never went back, Best Buy wouldn't be in business.
Yeah. Yeah. And
None of these
also,
companies.
also ongoing trainings, like giving that value to your client, whether even if it's not paid. So in other words, they've come in and they're paying for whatever, a course, but jumping on and doing a live and saying, hey, you know, I'm seeing that some people are having these questions. You follow it along in your Facebook group, or you're seeing that you're getting some, just, you know, maybe some questions that are coming back from the community itself, and say, you know what, I thought I might want to jump on and do a live here. Let's do some hot seat coaching, or let's do some clarification, where you're really going above and beyond, because it's all about,
Absolutely.
then again, retaining that client and giving that value. And that's the thing that becomes a game changer, because you're right, you're going to drive yourself crazy if you keep thinking, okay, if I want to make, I don't know, $500,000, how many courses is that? If my course is $1,000, okay, that's a lot of people I got to reach. Can you do it?
Yeah.
Yes. It's probably going to take advertising. It's going to take a lot of money in advertising up front to understand that and tweak it.
Yeah.
It's going to be done 100%. I'm a firm believer that whatever it is that you truly want to do, you can do, but there's many different ways to get there. And then it's
Mhm.
thinking of, okay, well, let me see, it's $1,000 for this, or, but maybe I could bump this thing up and I have a different, you know, value over here, or some other aspect of my business that I can add on to this in order to get to those numbers faster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much value there, right? There's so like I just love this conversation. So I really hope that, you know, the attendees here are really understanding this and the wrath of this. Cause I feel like this is probably the number one thing that entrepreneurs are doing right now. And so the best way you can kind of handle this is like, look, and I'm sure Kim, you know, with your community, I'm sure you really teach this, but I'll just kind of go over it. So you want to have a value ladder, right? So you want to have, I wish I saw somebody on my summit yesterday. They had like a
With a
whiteboard in front of
whiteboard,
them.
yeah.
That was cute. I might get it. Anyways, so there's the value ladder, right? So you're going to have tier one, right? You're going to have your free gift, your opt-in, where you put as many people as you possibly can into it. Okay. And the cool thing is you can actually have partners put people into that as well. So let's say this is Kim's tier one. This is her summit, right? That she does. She's done 3. You said you've done 3 now, right?
5. This is my 5th.
5.
Yeah.
She's done 5 of these summits
I'm
now.
going to draw
So
this out because I actually have this, and I'm going to draw it. So we'll you keep talking. I'm going to kind of draw it out and show people.
Okay. So Kim's got she's got 5 summits that she's already done. Now, what does she do for the summit? She has speaker. Well, we're going to go like this in quotation, speakers, and we are speakers, but we're also partners, collaborators, right? So people say partners and they get all, oh my God, it's a summit. It's an event. It's anything where you have other people promote your product. That's it. Okay. So on tier one, she has speakers. On tier 2, whatever she sells from here, I don't know her stack. She may or may not sell something. And if she does, let's say, on our event yesterday, we sold, oh no, sorry, let's go like this. So she's got her summit, then she's got her VIP upgrade, I'm guessing, right? So your VIP upgrade can help you pay for ads if you do ads, or it can kind of fund some of the cost associated with doing a summit if they're not free for us to host. So that's, let's say, $27, okay? And then you can give your partners a percentage of that, or you don't have to. Next up, she's got whatever she's selling from here. So let's say it's a 3-day workshop or whatever. Kim, I hope I'm not giving your stack away, but
No,
this is my stack, you guys. This is my
it's
stack.
okay because I show people
worry.
this all the time.
Okay, because I'm always about like, listen, this is what we're actually doing. So let's say now you're on the event, you've got a VIP upgrade. Now you have the option to go to a 3-day workshop or a 2-day workshop where you really get to dive deep with Kim. Okay, so that's going to be X amount of money. Let's say it's $700, $1,000. Okay, that's pretty typical. And then from there, you're going to buy maybe a high ticket product, right? Or a course. Let's just say, for the sake of our ladder, let's say you're going to buy a course for $2,500. Okay, so you have a course now. And then on top of that, now you have a $25,000 program. I believe we just built like a 5-tier value ladder. That is and customers will go from start all the way to finish on that. And then they will renew. If you were really good at your job, they'll renew on that $25,000 year after year after year. If you continue to create amazing stuff inside your products and continue to bring the value. Okay. And the best way to do that is to always be learning, showing up in events, growing, and then you can turn around and serve your customer. Okay. So if you look at that customer value, and let's just say you gave on the first 3 things to your partner. Okay. So step 1, you give nothing because it's free. Step 2, which is VIP, you could give 100%. Let's say you're doing no ads. You could give 100%, and that would really inspire your summit speakers to actually promote, right? You give 100% of that.
Right.
Then on your tier 3, Kim, how much did I say it was? 700?
Yeah.
So your tier 3,
750,
which is your 3-day event, 700, you give 50% of that. Okay. So now you've given 47 plus 500 plus 350. Okay. So 300, $400, right? You're giving $400. But what was the customer value that we just drew out there? It was like 40,000 or something, right? Yeah. So that's where it comes down to, you guys. Don't be like, greedy with your pennies. Don't be jumping over pennies to miss the dollars, right? Like, definitely start really thinking about, what does that customer value look like? How much is that customer going to be worth for the lifetime? I know mentors I've invested in that I've spent. I mean, with Russell Brunson, I probably spent $150,000. Yeah. He eventually lost me at some point. Not like, I mean, he's great, but eventually at some point I was like, okay, like I needed another mentor. So I moved on to someone else, but it took me a long time. It took me like 4 or 5 years, like, $140,000, $130,000. And now I'm with another mentor, which I've spent, probably about 40,000 up to now. So you guys just really think big, really, really think bigger than yourself. There's so much more out there than just like selling those one-off courses. So I really hope you guys got value from that.
Can you see this? It's probably so faint, but you can kind of see.
Oh, it's good.
But if you start summits, you go up this whole, it's like a journey, like it's your customer value, it's your customer journey. And it's just like, because you want to always be thinking, listen, you can always monetize different steps within your business. And so even though we always say you're going to start sometimes free with a lead magnet, maybe, or speaking somewhere and showing up on different podcasts, great way to start building your business, like you said, and getting your information out there. I show up on Clubhouse a lot. That's been a big platform for me. I've hosted rooms in there. I've moderated rooms in there, all of that, because again, it's like a podcast. It's another way of getting your name out there, but you're sharing your expertise and you're showing up and giving value. And sometimes I'm just in a room, just listening and maybe hearing what other people have to say and saying, okay, great. This would be somebody that would be awesome for me to bring into my community and share their expertise. So it's all about really creating those partnerships. And if you think about the way, listen, well before the online took off and everybody started creating these digital courses and products and group coachings, whatever it may be, people offline knew about the value of partnerships, and they built their businesses with those partnerships and those referrals, and all of that became a huge, huge part of a business. And so it's just a matter of really paying attention to that, I think, and leaning into that and knowing, okay, also, where, like you said earlier, everybody knows somebody. Everybody knows
Absolutely.
somebody. So it's
Absolutely.
no, go
But
ahead.
Kim, a good point there is that for the people that, because we can say it till we're blue in the face, people, everybody knows somebody, but you're still like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I literally teach this, you guys. So people tell me I don't know anybody. And I'm like, okay, let's sit down and like really mind map this out. You do. And so, but one place that's really good, if you don't know anybody, Kim just said it, Clubhouse.
Mhm.
So good. Okay. So the same mentor that helped me make 250, well, I made 250 by speaking in her community. That lady that became my mentor and my client, I met her off Clubhouse.
Mm.
Okay. People that I've partnered with in business now, I met off Clubhouse. Clients, I was on Clubhouse for, I don't know, an hour last month, and I got a client sign up with us for $15,000.
Yeah.
And I spoke for, I spoke for an hour and a half, chimed in a couple times. Then he messages me, then we get on the call, and next thing you know, we're signing for 15K. So, it's a wonderful platform. If we're talking partnerships, it's a fantastic platform to go out there and make those connections. If we're talking about clients, all you got to do is show up and really teach. And if someone asks a question, don't hold back. Like I would literally give that value. Like clients pay us a lot of money to walk through that value ladder that Kim and I just walked through. I would give that on Clubhouse, and I would really dive deep. If somebody asked me, well, what should I put in every step? I'm a fitness coach. I'm like, well, here's some things you can put in.
Right.
And I would give it to them, because when you show up and give true value,
Mhm.
people want to work with you.
Mhm.
When you give that surface crap, I hate it. When you give that surface crap, people are like, they see through it. It's like, oh, just come buy my stuff. Like I'm telling you right now, whatever Kim's selling, buy her stuff. She's a wonderful host. She's a wonderful entrepreneur. Buy her stuff. Like I'm not here to actually like have you guys buy anything. I actually don't even know what my freebie is, to be quite honest. So if Kim's gonna ask me, I'm gonna have to message
Yeah, Gemma sent it.
I'm gonna have to message my team, be like, are we giving a freebie or what? Because I don't show up to collect. I show up to give and to build relationships. And another example of this gets me fired up. Another example of this, I'm flying to LA and driving to San Diego with my summit host, Kimmy, that I was with yesterday. And we are going to speak at an event where it's all about learning how to write your book. She has a product for, I believe, $20,000 or $30,000. And we were going to get paid, I believe, 20% of each sale to go in the room and help sell and support. When she pitches from stage, we would repitch off stage and sell and help. Okay. But I was like thinking about it. And this is how you got to be strategic. You guys, like her room's got probably 100 people, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So let's just say, I don't know the numbers. Let's just say I signed up 4 people, 5 people. I'd probably walk away making like 20K, something like that. And I was like thinking after my event, okay, so I was like, well, number one, I don't want to pay for my hotel. It's just another expense. And so, Latasha, I think you guys are working on sorry, guys. Things, but, you guys stop talking. Oh, freaking Voxer. Oh my God, you guys.
Voxer going off.
It's not even open. It's not even open. I had to like open my phone.
I've done that with Clubhouse where all of a sudden I'm like, whoops, I'm in a room.
Like, what? That's so rude of Voxer. Just like came on. Anyways, so yeah, no, okay. So I could have gone to the event and made 20K. I could have cleaned up, but I was like, I'm not there to make money, which sounds crazy. I'm there to build a relationship. So I messaged her and I said, hey, I was thinking, I don't want to be in the room like like it feels like a sharking event where we're all like, competing for a sale type thing. I was like, I want to give and serve. And I'm just really excited. I personally have not done a live event like that where I'm on stage. I've spoken at them, but I've not hosted. So number one, I want to learn. I want to be inspired. And number two, I want to help and serve and build a relationship. So I said no to like $20,000. And I just said, pay for a hotel. I'm paying for my own flight. I said, just pay for a hotel.
Got to be a pretty expensive hotel there, Latasha.
Well, it's like $1,500, I think. But I'm like,
a couple spa treatments.
Paid for the hotel, and I was like, me and my girlfriend will stay in the same room just to have a separate beds. And like, you guys, full disclosure, I can pay for my hotel. I can pay for all the stuff. It's not that. It's just that I just want to be there to give. So I'm like, just pay for a hotel, and we will come, and we're gonna sell, and we're gonna sell the crap out of your room. We're gonna help to repitch, do all those things for free. Like, just cover our hotel, and that is it. And she's like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that is an incredible gift. But why did I do that?
It's building that relationship.
It is. Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So why did I do that? It's to build the relationship. I mean, and I'll be invited back. Like, I'm just excited to see her speak on the stage. I'm excited to get inspired everything that she's doing, you know? So I'm just there to give, and I can guarantee you it's going to pay tenfold down the road, long game, than it would have if I showed up just to take.
Yeah. Well,
So
yes, because you're looking at the big picture. And I
exactly.
think a lot of times we get caught up in, oh, especially when people are starting out or in that struggle mode, like, oh my God, how am I going to make it? How am I, like, and it's okay, I got to make money and I got to make money fast. And how do I do that? And then but that energy, it's
Yeah.
palpable and people feel that and they sense it. Like you were talking about a moment ago with Clubhouse. It's like people can sense when you are
Mhm.
just there to make the dollar. And it's like, I'm getting just pushing, trying it, or pitching, really pitching, trying to in maybe a covert way, but trying to get the sale because it comes out of this desperate energy
Yeah.
as opposed to this collaborative energy. And when you can stand in that and stand in that power of this knowing, like firmly knowing that it's okay, it's going to happen. But
Exactly.
I think that comes when you have a vision, a long-term vision for your business. And like you talked about this ladder as well. When you have that vision though, and you can connect to that. Because I think when you don't, you tend to flounder and then you're like, oh, maybe I'll go over here, or maybe I'll go over here, or maybe I'll try this tactic, or I'll try this strategy. And that's where I think we derail ourselves. We just kind of get caught up in all this stuff that it's like, I can't do it anymore. It's overwhelming. Like it becomes big.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it is like you don't want to be in that desperate energy selling, right? So one way, and I know that there is desperate energy when you are in a desperate situation, like I was that 56 cents. So I hate to say, oh, don't be the desperate energy, because sometimes you are, and some of these people watching will be. So one hack, or simple way you can get out of that desperate energy, I'll give it to you, is VIP days, right? So to remove yourself from a desperate energy, you got to be financially abundant, even if it's just for short term, right? So one way that you can solve this, and we teach our clients to solve this, is doing a VIP day, right? VIP days, anybody can do them. Anybody can do them, any expertise. Okay, so let's say you're a fitness coach or a fitness professional and you want to make a chunk of money right now. So what you can do is just draw out what like this elite event will look like, elite day will look like with a client, or maybe 2 days. If I was a fitness professional, what I would do is I would think of, number one, who do I know it needs to lose weight or get fit or whatever, that's been taking interest and that maybe has the financial means to do something great. Okay, so what I would do is I would probably map out a game plan for 2 days where I show up at their house and I go grocery shopping with them, and then we cook, and I show them how to do 6 different meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I show them how to meal prep. And I'm making this up, you guys, because I've never done this one on fitness, but it would work. I would buy it.
Yeah.
I would buy it. I just took a drastic measure to lose weight. And I can share that if you guys want. But so I would buy that. So you go to someone's house, you show them how to cook 6 meals, you help them meal prep, and you do workouts with them. You show them a morning routine. You get them all set up for success. You go to their pantry. We've seen TV shows like this.
Yep.
You go to their pantry, you throw all their junk food, and then you charge them 5 or 10,000. I mean, you're going to their house, you're flying to their house. I would charge them 10,000. Like, how much value would that be? You're putting decades into days for them. Mm-hmm. So find some people that you can start pitching and just get them on the phone, and even put on social media, like, hey, I'm doing this exclusive, decade in a day, VIP fitness thing. I don't know. Look at a show and think of a title.
Right.
Because these shows used to be out there. They were super cool. Like,
oh yeah,
Bridezilla boot camp and stuff like that. And he goes to their house and he throws their crap out. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's a great way. That's a great way to go from a place of despair, right? Selling from a place of you're freaking out to okay, well, I've got 10 grand. I paid a couple things, that's a great way to go from there to that, is just to sell a VIP day in any niche, as long as you're an expert in something. And if you're an entrepreneur, we're all an expert in something, whether it's grief. I know a girl's an expert in grief right now. Whether it's fitness, whether it's coaching, whether it's consulting, whether it's you're a teacher of some sort. Mm-hmm. You can do something in some facet. Okay. There's always a way to make a VIP day out of what you do. And if you want to sell out of place opposed to just despair, then go out there and sell a VIP day. It's the easiest thing.
Two things that you just brought up there. One is that yes, it's so quick and easy if you can get your mind kind of wrapped around that and get out of that, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have a friend that's really good at organizing.
Yeah.
And I am like, you could start your business so quickly by just going through the moms in our area that we've all known from when our kids were all in school together, and just make a list and go down that list and say, hey, starting a business. And even if you say, I'm going to come over and for, a few $100 to get started, to get testimonials, like you could do that and then just get some things started to get some fast cash and then testimonials, and then build it up very quickly into not only your garage, but I'm going to come and do your entire kitchen, your garage, etc. And then be with them for like 4 days or whatever, and create kind of like a VIP day with that.
Uh-huh.
And she hasn't done it yet. She keeps talking about doing it. I'm like, all right, whatever. If again, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. But it could be so quick. And I think, oh, if somebody's going to come and organize my garage, because there's things in there that I don't want to, it's like, oh, can I throw this out? Am I ready to throw it
Yeah.
out? And I remember when I moved one time, I had a friend come over and I'm like, I have 3 Cuisinarts. I'm never going to use a Cuisinart because I can't stand cleaning them. But I'm like, and I'm like, just go through my cupboards, please. And I left the house and she just went through it and it was done. And I was like, wow,
That's
that felt
great.
so good. And it made me feel like it was just, everything was done. I felt lighter about it and I didn't have to worry about it. But man, there is so much value in that. And I think oftentimes we don't. The second point you made was you're an expert. Everybody's an expert in something. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for
Yeah.
what it is that we do know, because sometimes we're thinking, I need to go get certified in that. I need to go finish that class. I need to get my whatever it may be. The more you do that, the more you are just pushing off the inevitable and what you
Exactly.
truly want to do, and making money. Like you can become an expert, especially when you do it, you show up and you get some testimonials. And that's
Exactly.
the other part I think so important, is asking for testimonials.
Exactly. Exactly. And so one way you can do a VIP day, if you don't feel like, oh my God, I'm so much of an expert, or I've never done this before, exactly what Kim said, get testimonials. How do you do that without having ever done it? So sell the VIP day at a substantially cheaper rate, lower rate. Okay. So we've done numerous VIP days. We actually, and get creative. One VIP day, I had a client and we're like, okay, just shoot this webinar, do this. And we like did everything for her aside from shoot the video. And when she would try to shoot the video, it was bad. And when I say bad, it was freaking terrible. And so I was like, okay, but she had cash. I was like, listen, why don't we do this? We'll do a VIP day. I'll fly to Malibu. I'll fly my team to Malibu and we'll get a sick place and we'll do photos. We'll do your webinar. We'll do your sales pages. We'll do your videos all in one, in 2 days. And so we did it in 2 days and she was raving about it. Okay. So that's a testimonial. But we didn't do one for a long time. And I was like, I need to build up some testimonials for VIP day after that one. So at Christmas, just after Christmas, I sent an email out to my list and I said, hey, we're doing VIP days. And I actually said, we're going to do it for 50% off. I didn't say it like that. I would never use marketing jargon like that, but we're going to do it, for a special rate.
Yeah.
And so we did, and we did it for $5,000 for this one client. And we normally charge $10,000. And she was actually on our event yesterday and she was like, just so blown away at our offer. I actually brought her up to talk about her VIP day and she was so happy and we charged her half that. But what did I get out of it is I got a testimonial. So
Yeah.
if you haven't done it yet, charge a lower rate, let them know that it's a special rate because you want to provide value. In return, you would love a review or a testimonial, right? So that's the exact way you're going to go about there, getting those testimonials without ever having the service created. And once you do it once or twice, then you can go out there and now sell it for 10,000 or 15,000.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And
And a good way, I think, to get testimonials too is not just a written one, but get a video one or even an audio one, because I think that makes a big difference. You can have one written, but when you see the person, or when you at least hear the person and you can hear even the tonality in their voice and you see what a difference it's made and how much it's helped them, I think that really does speak volumes for people in trying to, build up more business. The other part of that is when you're doing that, oftentimes people would talk about beta launches and doing something where you're just putting it out there, because it's kind of like you might be creating something, whether it's a course. And I would always tell people, don't create a course until you've tested the market first, because you could be spending 5 months on a course that nobody really wants, and
Exactly.
maybe you have to tweak some things. So it's good to, I think, send surveys out and ask people and get some feedback. And if you don't have an email list yet, because that's how so much of everything online works, is that you go into these Facebook groups. You mentioned it earlier. Look for Facebook groups that have a lot of people, but not just a lot of people, rather engagement. If you
Yeah.
can see the engagement and you can see that there's been comments, you can see how often they've been posting in there and see what's going on in there. And then you can actually post a survey in there, ask some questions just to start getting some feedback, even if it's like, hey, this is what I do. I'm thinking about starting something like this, and I'm looking for some founding members. Like, that's a good way to do it, where if you're looking for, let's get some things going and look for some founding members. I don't think you need to give it away for free, but I think that you can
No.
start at a low rate, because you never want to undervalue yourself, because
No.
I also think that when you do that, people don't take you seriously.
Oh,
And
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And you don't want to give it away for free. Like, number one, you have value, right? You don't want to give any, well, not, don't say you don't want to give anything away for free. But if you want to start selling a service, don't feel like you have to give it for free.
right.
Number one, people don't value free. Okay. So if you put, let's say you're doing a beta 4-week course or something like that. If you put a bunch of people in there for free, they're probably not going to show up. They're probably not going to take it serious because they didn't invest in themselves. I've done betas where I've done it for $1,000, and I've done it for $1,000, and we're typically going to sell it for like 7,000. And we find that people still don't show up. Right. Like, and we're, sometimes they get overwhelmed or whatever. Maybe this is like an earlier program, right? So we've since fixed those issues, but I feel like when people pay, they pay attention.
Yeah.
Right. So when they're actually paying even a little bit more, they're paying attention. When I pay my leaders $50,000, like mentors, 50 grand, trust me, I'm paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I'm not getting the results, because one of my mentors I've worked with, I sold it, I've made a ton of money, but not in the same structural way that she wanted me to. And then I'm like, and since we did the event, we did the docuseries, and why have I not made the money in the way that she taught? You want to know why?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't do
Yeah.
it
Why?
because I didn't do the work. I didn't do it the way I didn't do the work. I didn't listen. I was just like, well, that's too hard. That's like, what? I'm going to do a stack of events, 3 events. Like, that's a lot of freaking events.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. So then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so why am I not, making we make a ton of money. Yes, but we're not doing the 80K days that some of these women in the program are doing. Why? Because I'm not following the system. So
Yeah.
then I was like, and I did this yesterday on my event. So now, just this last couple of weeks after our event, we were all just at, I was like, listen, I'm going to minion this. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to follow the system just like this. And that's what I've been doing. And sure enough, we just did an event and we just made, we just did good on the event. And
Yeah.
then we have another mini event today. And I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we're doing the stack of events, right? So realistically, it's just having people invest in your product so they'll invest in themselves. Because when you let them in for free, they're not going to pay attention. If I didn't pay her program, I would have probably just left and said it didn't, well, I wouldn't do this, but I would have probably been like, oh, it just didn't work for me. No, it didn't work for you because you didn't do the work, because you didn't pay attention, because you didn't pay, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So have people pay so they pay attention.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So,
well,
yeah.
because it's so easy with so much stuff coming at us all the time to go, oh, I'm going to try this now. Oh, I'm going to try this. Oh, I'm going to try this. Because I think we want to look for a way that might be easier. And listen, the reality is success leaves clues. And it is everything in this world follows a system. I mean, you think about nature, the tide goes out, the tide comes in, it's like spring always is before summer. It's just, there's just a natural system that's in place. And business is the same way. You have a system. When a restaurant is running a business, they can't run a business and know how much food to order if they don't understand their numbers. And then they have to know how much food do I order, how long does it take to prep it, how many people are coming in. Like, they have to be so aware of that and understand that system in order to build their business. And I think a lot of times we think, oh, well, I just want to get there faster. So how can I jump over this? And it's like, wait, if I just taken the time to follow the system, even though it might have been 3, 4, 5 months worth of time, I would have been so much further ahead. I can't tell you how many things that I have purchased over the years. And I'm just kind of like, and I do think a big difference is when there's a coaching component, when there is a group that I am involved in, or
Mhm.
a coach that shows up, and I get to get on there and either have a hot seat, or I have a place where I can ask questions, where if I'm feeling stuck, absolutely a game changer, because it keeps me focused on what I need to be doing to move the needle forward in my business.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I
Absolutely.
think it's easy to just go, oh, well, whatever, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you're right, the amount too that you pay. I mean, I've paid thousands, thousands and thousands of dollars over the years, but I invest in myself because I'm a firm believer. My very first business was a franchise with a personal development industry, and I did sales training. So I'm a huge believer in that, and really knowing that your business can grow according to the rate in which you're growing as well. And so I
Yep.
think that's really important. But I look back and I can remember courses that I bought, programs that I bought, because at the time I'm like, wow, that sounds really good. It'd be great. And maybe it was just the way that they presented it. But then there was no follow up from the individual. So I bought
Okay.
it. But had that individual followed up with me and really taken some time, and again, this goes back to that whole customer journey, I might have been with them for quite a while. But
Mm.
if you don't follow up with somebody, this is why the stacking, I think, is so important.
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I'm learning the whole stacking process right now. And even though it feels overwhelming, it's funny, it does feel overwhelming a little bit. But then I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I only worked for a few hours a day doing this event. Somewhat. I mean, we did have pre-work and post-work after the event. But I mean, like still, like if I took a week off a month and I focused solely on my kids, on my son and my husband and stuff like that, I mean, it would be so worth it. So just really list, like if you're teaching people, the whole premise that we're talking about is just have them pay so they pay attention. But as a leader, like that follow up and making sure that, you're on the people, like if you know that your product works,
Mhm.
follow up and make sure that people are really implementing it. Because a lot of times it takes people a lot of time to really start believing it. I start seeing my fellow members inside that group doing it in a big way. And I'm like, okay, like I'm getting paid the same for a customer, but we have a lot more work. Like, we're building, we're doing with that customer. Whereas they're like in a coaching program and they're helping at a wider rate, and people are getting great results. And so I'm just like, okay, so we're like in done for you and they're in group. And it's just like, so it's just a different way of looking at things
Right.
and understanding things, and then where you put the value
Yeah.
in actually, where you put the value is the value in spending 3 weeks a month just like working a couple hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a day, and then having a week off? Or do you value being off every single night with your family and having one-off clients, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just where you put your value. And like I said, premise is get people to pay and they will pay attention, because if
Yeah.
it wasn't for that, I would probably not be here 6 months later finally implementing what I'm learning.
Yeah,
So
finally. But you're right though, because it takes people a long time, I think, to get to that and to step into that belief. And I think that comes because, I mean, what are we designed to do? We're creatures of habit. And so
yeah.
we kind of sink back into the familiarity. And it's almost like, we know that even if we've grown a little bit, maybe we're growing incrementally. If you are at a place where you're making 250,000 a year, and that's what then saying I'm going to make 1 million this year, that can be a stretch. And so I think what happens is we don't consciously do it, but I think we subconsciously kind of sabotage or pull ourselves back, because it's the whole crab in the pot. I'm going to keep pulling you back down into it, because it's the familiar zone. And this is why I think it's so important that there are coaches and that there are mentors, and why I've paid for them in the past and I still do, because man, when you've got that, it takes a lot to kind of really kind of keep your mind focused and try and go, okay, wait, I'm ready to grow to a higher level now. How can I best do that and get myself to that place and step into that? And I think that a big part of that is you have to see your future self. You have to go out there and say, okay, this is my big picture vision. And again, being connected to that, and then saying, where do I want to be? And how would the person that's there have built this business? Like, I always look at it and go, okay, Kim, if you're at this level now, turn around and kind of reverse engineer it. How did
Mm.
I get here? And then
Yeah.
what are the steps I took? Because the Kim that's here may not be the one that's showing up here daily and
Yeah.
not doing the things that she needs to do. Like, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy for me to go, oh, but I'm busy. I'm busy. And I'm like busy doing what? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's why I'm now invested in these stocks. I'm like, hey, because we're always busy doing busy work. You guys, for you guys that don't know what busy work is, that's like when you're on your computer and you're building graphics or doing things that like that you just shouldn't be doing. Number one, get an assistant. Okay. There's such a great investment. Number two, if it's you've got income generating tasks and then you have everything else, right? And so really you should be really focusing on that income generating task and the fulfillment task, but you need to find that happy medium, but you don't want to be in that creation mode. And especially when you're creating, and then a lot of people will create and then they won't sell. So create and then they'll freak out and they'll be like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, it's not good enough. But you've been creating it for like 7 years. I know people have been creating it for like 7 years. That's where one of my VIP days came out of, because she had been building a funnel for like, I don't know, 5 years. I swear to God, it was a long
And
time.
not putting it out there.
Not putting it out there. And so then she got the email about the VIP day and we started talking and I was like, listen, you can continue to do this for the next 5 years, or you can just invest and we'll, when we do our VIP days, we actually implement a bunch of stuff as well. So we built it for her and she was like, yes, put me in. So it's not about a money grab, you guys. When you're selling something like that, it's like, what value can you give? How can you help and support these people, right? So that is exactly what that is exactly what we did for her VIP day. And like, that's the mindset you got to think with. If you're going to do a VIP day or something like that, just you are giving value. You are sharing what you have with that client. You can take them from spinning for 5 years to in success to actually absolutely crushing it by you putting your services out there. And if you're not putting your services out there, you're doing the world a disservice. Like if you truly know that you have something to give, you have some way to inspire or to help someone move forward in their business and their life, it is selfish of you to hold that back.
Yeah.
It is selfish of you not to actually put that out there.
Mm-hmm. It is. It absolutely is, because when we do that, we are not only preventing ourselves from growing and showing up and sharing and playing a bigger game and stepping into that version of ourselves as well, but you are holding back from other people and what they could be actually the services and things that could be beneficial to them. And it's like, Marianne Williamson said in Course in Miracles that when you show up and you let your light shine, you unconsciously give people permission to do that as well. And I think that's huge, because I think oftentimes we pull back because we're afraid to show up and we're afraid to show up and play a bigger game, because it's almost like we have to have the permission to do it. I mean, I know for a long time I was like looking outside all the time, like, who's going to give me the permission to do this, and that permission comes from ourselves.
But then,
it absolutely comes from within. But I think it's easy to just kind of go, wait a minute, did I do okay over there? Did I do okay? And I see that so often too. And even my own clients, I'm like, listen, your value is not out there. Your value is coming from here first. And when you can get that and you can dial into that, that's the thing that allows you to feel confident in putting your offers out there and putting you build by putting more offers in front of more people more often.
absolutely.
That's the thing that starts to escalate and just starts to really scale a business as well. But it's also when you firmly believe in your value, it allows you to also charge what you want to charge instead of thinking, what do you think people are going to pay for this? You can never ask somebody what they're going to pay for it, because everybody's always going to go to the lower price, because they don't understand it. So it's like, well, okay, where's the value?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, yeah, no, Kim, I really hope people are getting stuff out of this, because like even us just drawing out that value ladder, and then, just really like, I think that's like, you have the value ladder, but now you need that belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I swear to God, that is probably the one thing that holds people back, is asking for permission from other people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I just want people to stop and be like, why do you do that? Like, why do you do that? Like, we're not your parents. Nobody's your parent. Like, you don't need to ask for permission. Remember, when you turned 18, you were now allowed to make your own decisions. So why do we go back? And trust me, I'm the same. I'm like, there was there's certain things like in our coaching program with my leader, I'm like, oh, well, I would like to change this or whatever. And she's like, and then at her last event, she goes, be innovative, like do things your way, do things outside of the box. So it's like, I'm like, why am I waiting for her to tell me it's okay to do things out of the box? Like, just do them.
Yeah.
Like you got to test things, right? Just because I tell you to do a partnership this way, or for instance, we're actually taught for summits to reach out via email. Well, you know what? We did like 200 emails. That fell flat. Like that sucked for us. We did voice notes, and Kim, this is for you. We did voice notes and we rocked it. Within 3 days, we had 40 speakers, right? And that was from voice notes. How is the system actually created? The system is actually created to do emails. We did voice notes, and guess what? It rocked it. So be innovative, don't wait for permission, and just get out there and do your stuff, guys. And like, don't be held back by the fear of lack of funds. Go out there and sell a VIP day. I swear you can sell a VIP day today. Like really, it's you totally can. I know you're probably like, there's no way, Latasha. There totally is. I can promise you this.
But you know what, you can, and I've done it myself, and you can, and you have to make a list and go, okay, wait, who do I know? And also be willing to ask for help, be willing to ask for the support from other people, because people like to help people. They genuinely like to help people. And so, but you're not going to get that help if you don't ask. And you're not going to get those VIP days unless you make a list and you go, really, who could benefit from what I have to offer? And why do I keep holding back? So I love that. And you're right, innovative, because the emails didn't work for me either. Like I am such a person that has to be, I'm just a people person. I love to talk to people and I love to get to know them, and it makes a difference for me. And when my teaching style is whiteboard, live, let me go through things with you, and then I'll record it. But I can't do the record it. It's everybody's got a different style. So you have to know what works best for you. So we are at the end of time. I'm so grateful that you were able to join this. I know you just finished your whole docuseries, which I was able to jump on for a little bit of it, which was fantastic, by the way. I think I sent you a note about that. And I've got your emails as well. So they are coming to my inbox. So that's great.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. That's great. Okay, awesome.
Carrie Lynn is going to put up in the chat there's 2 freebies. And they're your influencer. I think it's the Black Book.
Yeah, the Influencer Black Book. I'm actually shocked that we're giving that away. I don't even know what we give away half the time, but that Black Book is amazing. So if you are doing summits or events, or you want to find influencers, there's a whole list of influencers in there in every category. So you don't have to search. We did it for you.
Yeah, and there's another one too. Let me open this up real quick. What's the other one? Oh, the Joint Venture Playbook.
Yeah, so the Black Book is the list of influencers, and the Playbook is a book that I wrote, pretty much giving my strategy from start to finish, from start to finish for the whole process I did with partnerships.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome.
So generous. I love it. You gave us so much information. Thank you for being here. I love your story. I love how you did it, and I love the fact that it's like, listen, somebody. So be willing to get out of your comfort zone and actually go after that and ask for some help.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. And everybody, I hope you guys have a great rest of your summit, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.